So just to be sure everyone is on the same page, when we talk about fat here, we are not going to talk about how you will lose weight before the summer break, but we are going to talk about the factory acceptance testing for battery energy storage system. So those are about 20-foot, 40-foot containers full of batteries. And when we talk about fat, it's usually a list of a mix of tests, including visual inspection, as well as a final test to be sure that the performance are good enough. So why is FAT important? First of all, is to find the critical defects that may generate really bad events later in the life of your BESS. So second is to ensure your return on investment. And here, this is a really interesting point. So you want to check the performance of your BESS is as expected, is according to your BESS specifications. So here for this Valley Center project in the US, it's a bit a funny story. Last but not least, why you should be really careful about FAT and that you should really focus on that, is that today there is no standard for FAT. So what do we do during a FAT? So as I mentioned earlier, it's a combination of several tests. First of all, you will have some visual checks. First frequent BESS issue is about the software side. That sometimes when we visit factories for the FAT, we find that people are not working on the FAT, but rather on solving some bugs because of some...
When we speak about lithium-ion technology, there are, in our world, three main types. There is NMC-like, nickel, manganese, cobalt, and there is LFP, lithium iron phosphate, with kind of a renaissance in the last years. And then there are also exotic animals in the zoo, like LTO, titanate, solid state, and whatnot, sodium, iron. We'll not deal with them. Our focus today will be on the typical NMC, which has been really the technology in the past when it comes to automotive. So these cells that come in different forms are put together with electronics and actors and sensors and IoT into different systems. Small systems like that one kilowatt hour, or a Tesla, which is roughly 100 kilowatt hours. But if we look at a BESS per container, several thousand kilowatt hours or megawatt hours. And so they come in different forms, but in the end, they are all just connections of these cells. And unfortunately, those cells degrade. Let me give you a very brief introduction. What is when I use the word cycle and SOC? So the usage conditions, temperature, SOC window, the power during operation and charging, but unfortunately also the SOC when you park or when you don't use it, influence these cells, the insides of these cells, which leads to capacity fade, the energy goes down. Let's look into a battery cell. Let's take a deep look. What happens? So in a battery cell, you have a plus pole, you have a minus pole. You know that from your remote control of the TV. They are connected to whatever is there, a lamp or so. And inside there is a separator, because otherwise you would have an explosion, and a liquid. This liquid is called electrolyte. And inside, ions travel between the plus and minus pole, back and forth, charging, discharging, back and forth all the time. This is a screenshot from a battery cell. I'm zooming in here a bit, yeah? How is this NMC cell influenced by those factors? And let's look at just the SOC swing. So they took 3 battery cells, identical battery cells, and labeled them ABC, or yellow, green, and red. And these 3 ones were used under different conditions. The yellow one was cycled between 70 and 10%, and the red one was cycled between 90 and 30%. So it was always the same energy taken out, always 60%, but in different windows, 90 to 30, 80 to 20, and 70 to 10. And the result of degradation is amazing. Here is what they call the...
Visit Sinovoltaics.com to learn more.